You remember something nobody else remembers. A specific thing, a specific moment. Something someone said or didn't say, or the way they looked at you when they said it. They've forgotten. You know they've forgotten. You can see it in how they behave. The ease of people who don't carry what you carry. And you've been carrying it for years. Not because you chose to, because something in you decided early that forgetting was the same as agreeing, and you would not agree. Dostoevsky called him the underground man, the man who remembered everything, who could not let an insult pass, not because he lacked control, but because letting it pass felt like lying, like agreeing that it was nothing, like confirming that he was nothing. The underground man doesn't forget, not from weakness, from a kind of terrible loyalty to the wound, because the wound is the only proof something real happened. And if you let it go, if you actually finally let it go, what happens to the proof? What happens to the years you spent carrying it? What does that make those years? We are not going to tell you to let it go. You've been told that. It didn't work, not because you're incapable of letting go, but because letting go would require believing that it didn't matter, and it mattered. What we're going to do instead is look at what you built from the thing that mattered, because you didn't just hold on to it, you constructed something from it, something that still runs in the background of almost everything you do. It still hasn't ended. Part 1, the insult. Here's what happened to the ordinary person. Something was said. It landed badly. They felt it. They were angry. They moved on. The insult completed its arc. It arrived, it burned, it faded. It became a thing that happened. Here is what happened to you. Something was said. It landed badly. You felt it. You were angry. And then you stayed. Not in the room. In the moment. You replayed it. You reinterpreted it. You found the layer beneath the layer. The thing they really meant. The thing they've always thought. The pattern this instance confirmed. And eventually the original insult almost stopped mattering. What mattered was the possession of it. The fact that it was yours. That you had been there. That it had happened to you and you had kept the evidence when everyone else had moved on. The insult didn't complete its arc. It entered a loop. And the loop is still running. Most people think resentment is about anger. It isn't. Anger is fast. Anger burns and moves. Anger wants resolution. Resentment is something else. Resentment is patient. Resentment is curatorial. The underground man didn't rage. He collected. Every slight, every dismissal, every moment he was looked through instead of looked at, he kept them, organized them, returned to them, not to suffer, to build. Because every item in the collection was evidence. Evidence of a case he was building against the world and everyone in it who had ever made him feel like he didn't count. You have a collection too. You know exactly what's in it. Nobody remembers. Part 2, the debt. There is a ledger. You didn't decide to keep it. It started on its own, early, in the logic of someone who learned that certain things are not forgotten, even when the other person clearly thinks they should be. The ledger records debts, not money, the other kind. The moment they talked over you, the time they didn't show up, the way they introduced you that made you smaller, the thing they said about someone else that you knew was really about you. Each entry is precise, date, context, amount. Not because you're petty, because something in you refuses to pretend that what happened didn't happen. The problem with the ledger is that the debts can't be collected. The people who owe you don't know they owe you. Some of them don't remember the incident. Some of them remember it differently. Some of them would be genuinely confused if you tried to explain what they took from you and when. So the ledger fills, and nothing is ever crossed out, and the interest accumulates, not as rage, as something quieter. A low, constant awareness of what is owed and by whom, and the specific impossibility of ever receiving it. And you carry that awareness into every new room, into every new relationship, into every situation that resembles, even slightly, the ones that created the entries. The ledger is portable. You bring it everywhere. It weighs nothing and it weighs everything. And the people in the new room have no idea they're being assessed against a history they have no access to. They just notice sometimes that you seem to hold back, that there's a reservation in you they can't quite account for. They're right. There is. Here is the underground man's specific cruelty to himself. The ledger is accurate. That's the part nobody says. The debts are real. The slights were real. The dismissals happened. The moments of invisibility were genuine. He's not imagining it. You're not imagining it. The cruelty is not the keeping of the ledger. The cruelty is the certainty that it will never be settled and the keeping going anyway. The accurate record of an uncollectible debt, kept with total precision, never shown to anyone, never resolved, just carried. Before someone else could. Part 3, the sabotage. Here is the part that doesn't make sense until it does. You had something good, or close to good, something that was working, or could have worked, or was on the verge of working, and you ruined it, not accidentally, not from carelessness, with a specific, deliberate, almost surgical precision. The relationship, the friendship, the job, the project, the thing you'd been working toward for longer than you want to admit, you ruined it. And somewhere underneath the ruin, something in you felt relief. The underground man understood this. He called it spite. But spite is too simple a word for what actually happens. What actually happens is this. If the good thing works, if the relationship holds, if the project lands, if the thing succeeds, then the years become harder to explain. The suffering remains, but the necessity disappears. All that caring, all that precision, all that loyalty to the wound. For what? So when something good arrives, he doesn't ask, "Do I deserve this?" He asks, "What does this make of everything before it?" And the answer is unbearable. So he protects the wound, not the wound itself, the necessity of the wound, because it explains everything. He ruins the good thing, not because he hates it, but because he cannot afford to have the suffering become unnecessary. The underground man hates something even more than pain. Prediction. The moment a path becomes obvious, the moment success looks inevitable, the moment the future starts behaving like a calculation, like something that can be solved, optimized, delivered on schedule, something in him recoils. Because if the outcome can be predicted, then where is he? Where is the part that chooses? Where is the proof that he is a person and not a variable? So he does the irrational thing, not because it helps, not because it protects the wound, not because he can't see what he's about to lose. He can see it perfectly. He does it because he can, because the doing of it, the choosing of it, is the only form of freedom still available to him. The spite is not the wound. The spite is the proof that the wound didn't finish him. This is the underground man's confession. Not, "I destroyed things because I am broken," but "I destroyed things because I could not afford to have them taken from me. I will ruin this myself Before the ledger is proven wrong, before the wound heals and I lose the only evidence of what happened to me, before someone else gets to decide how this ends. Not destruction, control, the last form of control available to someone who has lost all the others. The underground man doesn't ask for sympathy. He knows what he is. He's been watching himself for long enough to have a complete picture. The resentment, the ledger, the sabotage, the wound he protects more carefully than anything else he owns. He sees all of it. He describes all of it. With a precision that could pass for self-awareness and functions instead as self-preservation. Because as long as you're describing the trap, you're not required to leave it. The description is the stay. The analysis is the wound continuing to exist in a more articulate form. The spite doesn't want resolution. That's not a failure. That's the design. Resolution would require accepting that the debts were real and will never be paid and can be released anyway. That's three things the underground man cannot do simultaneously. He can accept the debt. He can accept the impossibility. He cannot release. Not yet, maybe not ever. But he knows the structure. He's drawn the floor plan. He's been in this room long enough to know every corner, which is not the same as leaving, but it's something. You ruined it before reality could prove you wrong.